Well, hello there. Welcome to Ensuring Your Well-Being. This is Dennis James, the bike and dance and insurance man with various insurance planning. And today we're going to have an amazing topic. We're going to be talking to an expert, and he is a CPA, and his name is Jamie, and it's very unique. How do you say that last name, Jamie?
It's Lopiccolo.
Okay, that's exactly how you say it. Thank you for that.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Here's what's cool about this. Jamie and I both work in Lake Orion, even though we deal with surrounding communities. And, you know, when it comes to podcasts, these podcasts are going to be going out throughout the USA, right? So, but we had a little conversation, and we're here to serve, and that's why we're going to be introducing you to what Jamie does and how you can benefit by using a CPA. And we're both from Lake Orion. Jamie, you may live in Oxford, Michigan?
Yes. Yep, Oxford.
Okay, so that's about how far from where your office is?
I've got a nice 7-minute commute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smart,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And are you married, Jamie?
No, I am not.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're involved in a lot of associations, so tell me a little bit about that, or the audience.
Sure. So I've been in the public accounting field for about 35 years. I started out when I was as an intern when I was 17, and then never left the profession. Been certified since 1998, so whatever that is, 27 years, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And have served mostly small to medium-sized businesses and worked with individuals my entire career. I started Capocore Professional Advisors about 7 years ago. As I kind of saw the market, I can get more into that, but as I saw the market change for the CPAs. But yes, as you said, I was currently just ended my chairship for the Michigan Association of CPAs, which is roughly about a 17,000 member organization that serves all Michigan CPAs in advocacy, in education, and collaboration. And so we provide a lot of education to our CPAs.
Mm-hmm.
For those that aren't aware, a CPA is required to have 40 hours of education every year to maintain its license. And so the Michigan Association of CPAs provides that education to them as well. Been on the various boards around Lake Orion, including the DDA, a member of the Small Practitioners Task Force of the Michigan Association of CPAs, a member of Council of the American Institute of CPAs, and recently helped out with the Save the Lake Orion DDA effort from the election last year. So love this community and love giving back to it.
Yeah, well, for sure. We know Lake Orion's growing a lot, just like Oxford is, and obviously the way you have been serving in so many ways. Now, you work with personal and business?
Yeah. So our practice is what we call, we're a business and tax advisors.
Okay.
We're a CPA firm, but we really focus on the advisory side. But we serve what I would call small to medium-sized enterprises and individuals. Most individuals are going to be those individuals that have got a little bit more complication in their tax preparation needs, as opposed to just a basic W-2 employee. Our value is it's hard to get our value to those clients because there's not a lot there. So we really look at focusing on that advisory side of what we do. So we look for those individuals in which we can add value to the tax preparation and not just do a return.
Right. I would think most people would know what CPA stands for, but sometimes, right?
Sure.
We think we know.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of the official is certified public accountant. We are licensed by the state of Michigan. We are regulated by the state as well. We have certain requirements to pass an exam, a national exam. We have certain education that we have to get. Right now, it's 5 years of schooling to get there. There's some changes going on in the licensure part of the profession, but at the end of the day, there's an education component, there's an experience component, and you have to pass a unified national exam in order to get your CPA. What I find is most people don't understand is although we are trained in tax, accounting, and so forth, what the CPA, what we're licensed to do is just purely audits, financial audits. But we've been trained so well in all other aspects that CPA credential brings some value to the tax preparation, to the accounting, and to be a business advisor.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, is there any other degrees outside of being a CPA? I mean, I always think of that as being the highest degree,
Sure.
but I was just curious.
Yeah, no, there's other credentials that can go along with the CPA. Like for me, I'm what they call a CGMA, which is Chartered Global Management Accountant. Okay, and that's just I've reached some areas where I can also do management-based accounting and so forth. And so that's another credential offered by the American Institute of CPAs, or the ICPA. What you'll find nowadays is that because of the 150-hour accreditation to sit for the exam, most people are now going into and getting some sort of a bachelor or master's. So a lot of times you'll see a CPA that's got an MBA. Sometimes you'll see CPAs that have got other credentials. It just means that they've specialized in other areas, either certified financial planner or appraiser or things along those lines.
I see. We know today, and especially because of COVID, right? You kick people up instead of meeting face to face,
Sure.
Right? And we know technology, how important it is, and you
Yep.
either have to embrace it or you don't.
Right.
It's interesting because you don't have a choice if you're going to be in the business and really take care of things, right?
Right.
But some people choose not to do technology, right? They like the one-on-one thing, and I know you, and you can tell me a little bit more about it. But it seems like technology is, you're one of those guys that really believe in it.
Yeah, I've even from an early age, and I've always loved computers, and I've always embraced new technologies. Always kind of try to stay at the forefront of technology. Our firm is solely built on the cloud.
That's so cool. Good for
So,
you.
I mean, when COVID happened, I literally turned my machine off at the office, went home, turned it on, and was continued to. It wasn't like I missed a beat at all. And that's just basically how I've always built our firm. We've every year we invest in new technology, and we're even now looking at ways where, as opposed to shying away from AI, figuring out how AI is going to help us deliver more value to our clients. Again, our whole premise is about bringing more value, more advisory to our clients, as opposed to just the tax preparation. So we attended a seminar earlier, or conference earlier in July, and there's a lot of technology and a lot of AI, and we came out of that investing heavily into some of the technology, some of the information that we're gathering, how we're gathering it, the use of technology, and then our use of AI. So I use AI on a daily basis, whether it's from a simple drafting of a letter,
Sure.
to response to an IRS notice, to developing a marketing plan, or to maybe helping me assist a client in determining what are some KPIs they should be looking for. So we use it throughout, and there's a saying in there: there's going to be two types of firms: those that use AI and those that fail. Because again, I think that AI is while it's scary to some, it's not going anywhere, and technology is improving at such a tremendous speed.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, staying ahead of the game, right?
trying to, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And what happens when you get that person that is not technically savvy and they just say, "Hey, Jamie,
So we don't.
I want your service, Jamie. How can you help me?"
Yeah,
Uh,
you're describing my father. So so we still can cater to those. I mean, we still maintain all our records on electronic. and we still follow our normal electronic procedures, but we do go out of the way to provide some sort of assistance, whether it's a printing of a tax return or printing of an organizer, or accepting paper copies and scanning them of their source documents into us or something along those lines. We still kind of work with those clients, but at the same time too, we start to try to educate them
Sure.
a little bit about what our portal system looks like, or and we're always constantly looking for changes. Like this year coming up, we're going to be changing the way we deliver tax returns. Before we have the clients log in and do that, now it's going to be more of a push out system. So it should make those clients that at least know how to use email and feel comfortable following email and prompting should be able to electronically sign their returns, see copies, and make payments online without a problem.
I see. When I think of CPA, right, the name of the profession, right?
Sure.
Just we're on a one-on-one conversation. How did you come up with that name?
Oh, of Capocore?
Capocore,
Capocore
yeah.
Professional Advisors. So, funny story is this is firm 2.0 for me. I call it firm 2. I was on my own for a while, merged and then demerged that firm, and the first thing that I wanted to do is one of the common mistakes a lot of business owners do is they make the business about them, the individual that started it. And that's great and all, but that doesn't create value into that firm because everybody wants to come see you. If something happens to you, there's no value left to the firm. So I wanted to create a firm in which the clients felt that it was a firm experience as opposed to me. So I wanted to come up with a name other than my last name. So I did having an Italian background, I did some Google translations on leaders and things and along those lines, and it came up with the word capo. And so I thought I was going to go with the Capo Group. And I talked to a good friend of mine, and he said, you realize that means captain in the mafia, right? And you may start to attract certain clients that maybe you don't want. And so I took that to heart, but I still kept coming back to Capo. And so then the next transition was, well, now I want it to be the acronym of CPA. So Capocore Professional Advisors acronym is CPA. And so I kept going back with the word something professional advisor, something. And finally, one day I just woke up and went Capocore. So that's why our tagline is CPA leadership at its core. So it was just a mashing of two words together that the URL was available. It wasn't taken by anybody at the state of Michigan. And so it ticked a lot of boxes and said, let's run with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, everybody's going based off their last name, right?
Sure.
And
that's common in our industry and so forth. But I think what you're seeing a shift in our industry is people are first and foremost, there's more competition among what we do. And so those are coming up with snazzier names. And, you've got Bench, you've got QuickBooks Online, you've got all these different names out there. And I think firms are starting to realize that especially some of the newer progressive firms are starting to realize that their name is it's boring out in the marketplace. It's hard to market. And I had a client a while ago that was really big on branding and marketing. And as I worked closely with him, I started to really understand the value that provided. And so for me, using something other than mine gave me better options to go out and market our firm and brand our firm and get recognition in the marketplace as opposed to Lopiccolo and Associates or something along those lines. And so it just made sense for me to go a different direction with that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. As far as tax firms versus using a CPA firm, what's your thoughts on that?
It depends on what you're looking for. So
financial.
Right. So I tell, there are the H&R blocks out there. There's the Liberty taxes. All of those, usually those do deliver good results if you're looking for tax preparation. Again, we focus on the advisory side. One of the things that I always tell people is that company you're going to be using around all year round if you get a notice. A lot of these places are work through April 15th or through April 30th and close down, and then you've got to figure out where to go if you get an IRS notice or if you have a question relative to something happening. Most CPA firms are around. The other thing that I say is that we've got a level of integrity that most other shops don't have because, again, we have to maintain professional standards. We're held to a higher standard by the American Institute of CPAs, higher than what the IRS holds tax preparers to. We're required to have 40 hours of education, so even though that they may have taken a tax class and so forth, we've got much more education, much more specialized education. And so from that perspective, depending on your situation, a certain you may have a farm, and certain CPAs may not do farms, but you're not going to find an H&R Block that specializes in farms. Right. So you have to look at I tell people, look at your situation. An H&R Block type style or tax preparer may be good for you, but you have to really look at what your situation is and what are you looking for. I wouldn't recommend a high net worth person, to be fully honest, to go to an H&R Block, because we can provide so much more value and tax efficiencies, and how to not necessarily. One of the misnomers that people think is that we can get their liability down to zero. That's not true. There's no way to do that in this current tax environment for the average person. But I say we focus on tax efficiencies, paying the right tax at the right time, at the lowest rate possible, right? And so that takes some strategies.
Yeah, and that's where, right, the continuing education and the ongoing education, and you went to Walsh College, right? And so how many years was that to?
So Walsh, I ended up getting my degree in 96. I think I spent about 3 or 4 years there. I started off at Macomb, right out of high school, and then I transferred to Walsh and worked. When I started Walsh, I started working for another firm full time, out in the Sterling Heights area. So I think I took the long route to get my degree. So I graduated high school to age me in 90. Graduated from Walsh in 96, and so I think I took about 4 years to go through Walsh.
Okay.
So.
Very good, yes. The old Macomb College.
Macomb to Walsh.
Was that the 12 Mile Road one?
No, I was actually at Center Campus over on 59.
Campus. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but I was working at a CPA. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and for anybody out there that's thinking of going into accounting, it's a great profession, but I learned so much more in my internships and my working with the firms than I did at the college courses, unfortunately, because you can't replace real live work experience.
Right.
So, Yep.
I don't think that changes at all, does it? I mean, it's online, right? Obviously, it's great to have the degree, but let's put it into action.
Right, and that's right now our profession is facing what we're calling a pipeline issue of new people coming in wanting to be CPAs, and so one of the things we're looking at or looking to change is changing the education requirement to become more based upon your competencies. So it's going to be based upon how you may not get your traditional learning in some of the associates arts and things, but more have you learned the understanding of tax, of audit, of accounting, and that competency brings you up. And if you've accomplished enough competencies, now you'd be ready to take the exam. That's ultimately where I think the profession's going to go. We're not there yet. That's more of a long-term thing, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we know that, one of the things, we live in a really nice community, right? And, you have a lot of people that work for the big three around here. There's some tech companies, right, that are coming in more. And then you have all these businesses, lots of businesses, right? So when it comes to preparing for taxes from a individual, somebody that works for one of the big three, right? They're an employee, they could be making whatever, some serious cash.
Sure.
And then you have the business. When are you normally kind of like the norm? Is there certain dates?
Oh, sure.
Just to educate the audience a little bit more on that.
Don't wait till January or February. Let's put it that way. So all other months are other than, if you're coming in for the current year, don't come in January through April to say, I need my taxes done. That's probably because we already have our schedule full. Chances are, more than likely, we're not going to get your return done by April 15th because we've already committed to all of our existing clients. And so it kind of sits down in May. We sit down with those new clients and start to talk about what we can do and what they're looking for. Ideally, right now,
Yeah.
between now and the end of the year, between middle of December, is the time that if you're considering making a switch to, especially to a CPA firm, is now the time to start that process of whether you're going to go through an interview process or reach out to multiple ones and see what they can do for you. Now is the time to do it, because realistically, we're just finishing up on the October 15th deadline next Tuesday. We'll have a little bit of downtime, and we'll go into what I call planning season. That's when we're working with our business and individuals and starting to figure out what the year end is going to look like for them. So that way, our goal is for most of our high net worth, and business owners is to make sure that they know what their balance is going to be in April. So there's no surprises. I don't want my clients to all of a sudden have a surprise. And so now's the time to start working with us.
Mm-hmm. Even when we have debates going, and we're gonna have a won't get into all that, but we know we
There's
got
going to be
a
a change.
presidency
There's going to be
coming
a
up.
change at the leadership in the White at 1600 Pennsylvania, one way or the other, right?
Let's hope so. No,
And
but,
well,
yeah,
it
it depends.
In theory, there's going to be, because
Right.
neither
That's
one of
true.
them our current
Yep.
president has
Yep.
stepped down.
Good point. Good
and
point.
Yes, the reality is going to be is right now the only thing that we're staring down the known is that in 2026 the current tax law
Right.
reverts back to 2017. So
Right.
rates go up, and things start to change.
Right.
So the issue is going to be, in my opinion, is how is the new Congress going to address that? Are they going to address it immediately in 2025, or are they going to wait till, which they've done in the past, wait till it expires all the way to the end and then do something or whatever? And I tell people this, I tell my clients all this, and this is no by a political endorsement of one side or the other.
Right.
But
Good.
typically, the Republicans are more in favor of probably of renewing this or making some tweaks, but allowing where the rates are at.
Right.
However, you need to be able to capture all three legislatures, the two legislatures in the presidency. Democrats are going to be more to probably change and allow for increase some taxes on the higher net worth individuals, and we're talking billionaires, not necessarily millionaires, but still, it's going to have a trickle down impact.
Yeah.
But if we don't have a clear margin on either side,
Mm-hmm.
my fear is that nothing is going to get done, and we're going to resort back just by default to the 2017, and that's going to ultimately, at the end of the day, the average person is going to see a tax increase, more than likely. It will allow for the state taxes to be deductible. It'll increase the tax rates. We'll get now dependency exemptions, and so it changes a lot of different things. But it was funny because I wasn't quite sure when they passed this law in 2018 what the impact was going to be. But we saw lower taxes to most of our clients, even though there's less deductions and so forth. But we'll see. We'll see.
Sure. Yeah, we will see, won't we?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, I just want the political ads to stop.
Yeah.
That's all I want right now. I don't care who wins, whatever. Just let's, I never
know.
wanted to see
I
Christmas
know.
commercials more in my life.
I know. I know it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can all relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yep.
know,
So,
enough is enough of that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, people, they question with whoever's working with their taxes. Maybe give us just a few ideas, some red flags that, the consumer,
sure.
business owner needs to be aware of.
So from the individual side, and there's I believe on the Michigan Association of CPAs website, I think there's some top 10 questions to ask your preparer and find out. So if anybody has information, I'll put a plug for my association, micpa.org. But some of them are how are they getting paid? So as a CPA, we're forbidden to charge your fee based upon the size of your refund. So if anybody offers to say that I'm going to get you a refund and you're going to pay me on the size of that, that's a red flag. Okay, because the fact that now they have a personal interest in making sure you get the largest refund possible, legally or non-legally, or maybe taking some aggressive stances that you're not familiar with. So avoid that like the plague. Are they open all year round? I addressed that earlier. Are they open all year round to make sure that they are there? What type of education are they taking?
Yeah.
when was the last time they've had a tax update?
Right.
Those are some things, and realistically, don't be afraid to ask those questions. If they want to dodge those questions, that should be a red flag right there. As a CPA, I I have no problems explaining our policies and what we do, our education requirements, and all of that, because I want an educated consumer. At the end of the day, I want an educated client. That's where our advisory comes into play, is that our advisory is really designed to educate the client so that they know how to ask the right questions, or they know how to make the right steps, because we've already given them the best practices, or we've kind of showed them that the tax efficiency, if you do it this way, you're going to save more taxes as opposed to this way, or just working with their financial advisor or anybody else to say, well, if we did this at this time, or we did this, or understanding the difference between capital gains and when is it better to sell, and so forth, and those rules. So now they all of a sudden understand that, and they can start to do things on their own. It's kind of like teach them to fish or give them a fish, right? If
Yeah.
you give them a fish, but if you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for life.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
the philosophy we kind of take.
Okay. Very good. All right. Do you have any final thoughts? We are getting close to tax season, right?
Sure.
Just like you said, people need to start thinking about it, preparing for it.
Yeah.
And it's always better sooner than later.
Yeah, I would say to start to, if you are truly looking for, you did not have a good experience, or you feel that you need more out of your preparer, start looking now, so that way you can interview, get them, so they can get you on their radar, so that way there's nothing is missed, and so forth. And it's understand what your needs are too. Do you need to have somebody that you just don't feel you're getting enough out of?
Right.
Because again, tax preparers, there's all different types. And then, I'll make one last note just for the profession in general, is that any individual that's listens to these, that is thinking, accounting is a great career, and I've enjoyed it for 35 years.
Right. Time flies, huh?
Yeah, time flies when you're having a lot
Time
of fun.
flies. It's interesting. That's about where I'm at with my insurance profession, and
Sure.
very grateful.
Yeah.
Very grateful. But like everyone, you have to go with change. You have to work with people that specialize and know what they're doing. They've
Right.
been around. Like your business, probably like mine. Only a certain amount stick, right? But
Yep.
the ones that have a background and that have a proven record of being there, and they're not going to stay in business unless they're trustworthy and loyal.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And they're, like you said, Jamie, it's the constant education, getting better and better every day. And so, how would people, if they had questions, right, no matter where they are, what would you tell them how they could get a hold of you?
Sure. So our website is Capocore, CAPOCORE.com. Our office phone number is 248-564-1410, or they can send an email to hello@capocore.com. If they're interested in coming on board, our website's the best place to go. We have a new client prospect form that they fill out, so that we can make sure that we are a good fit, because we want to make sure we can service them properly.
Right.
They can fill that out, and then they can get in contact, and we can have a quick conversation about what their needs are for businesses and individuals.
Okay. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for
you.
taking the time. I'd like everybody to get a hold of Jamie. If you have any questions, he for sure, by you listening, you understand that he's going to bring value to you when you have questions. If you need his service, please contact him, and make it a blessed day. All right.